The Athletics had a bottom five rotation last year and could use starting pitching help, so I have them trading for Dodgers starting pitcher Gavin Stone. Stone missed all of 2025 due to injury, but should be back for the beginning of 2026. Dodgers have a surplus in starting pitching and don't really need Stone, who had a solid rookie year, posting a 3.53 ERA and 1.21 WHIP. In return, the Dodgers will get number 10 prospect Joshua Corota Guerrero and number 18 reliever prospect Will Johnston. The Diamondbacks will be without their ace Corbin Burns for the majority of the season and don't have any other great arms, so I have them trading for Mackenzie Gore. Gordon up and down 2025, but was overall pretty solid and strikes out a decent amount of batters, and he also has 2 years of control. In return, the Nationals will get number 5 second base prospect Tommy Troy, number 13 pitching prospect Daniel Egan, number 18 pitching prospect Ashton Izzy, and number 19 infield prospect Christopher Torn. The Braves need middle infield help offensively, and Bo Bichette would provide a tremendous offensive boost to this team and fill the shortstop hole. Bichette bounced back in 2025, posting an 840 OPS while heading over 300 after a disastrous 2024 and set himself up to receive a huge contract this offseason. The Orioles are lacking an ace in their rotation and need starters, especially after trading away Grayson Rodriguez. I have them signing Dylan Cease, who didn't have a great year statistically, but the expected numbers look good, and he led the league in strikeouts per 9. And he also throws pretty hard and has good stuff that generates a lot of swing and miss. In 2024, he looked terrible at the plate, so the Red Sox will bring in first baseman Pete Alonso to take the starting role. Last year, Alonso solidified himself as one of the best hitters in baseball, hitting 38 homers with an 871 OPS, and this lineup could use an offensive spark to take the team to the next level. The Cubs need rotation help with a pitcher that is good stuff and strikes out a lot of batters, which is why I have the Cubs trading for Joe Ryan. Minnesota will be looking to sell even more this offseason after blowing it up at the deadline, and Ryan will be one of the most coveted players out there in the trade block. But the return will be hefty for him, especially with him having 2 more years of control and only being paid around $6 million. The Luis Robert trade rumors have been going on for years now, and Robert just had another disappointing season, so Chicago might try and move on from him while he still has value. Even if he's not a good hitter anymore, he still has value because of his glove and speed. I have him finding a new home in Kansas City who desperately needs outfield help. The Reds should re-sign closer Emilio Pagan, who was quietly one of the best closers in baseball last season. He had a sub-3 ERA, sub-1 WHIP, and good strikeout numbers, tied for 5th in saves. He was one of the only reliable arms Cincinnati had in their bullpen. Expressed interest in coming back. The Rockies' pitching has been atrocious the past few seasons, and it's rare for any of their starters to even have under a 5 ERA. So I have them trading for Pirates starter Mike Burrows, who had a pretty good rookie year, just being solid overall, and has really good off-speed stuff. In return, Colorado will send Victor Vodnik and 23rd shortstop prospect Andy Perez to Pittsburgh. A good move for the Guardians will be trading for Brendan Donovan. The Guardians' offense was awful last season, being bottom 5 in average, on-base percentage, OPS, and runs, and somehow still made the playoffs. They desperately need a second baseman. Donovan doesn't really hit for power, only hitting 10 home runs, but he hits for a pretty good average and on-base percentage while still having a 775 OPS last season and doesn't swing or miss a lot. The Tigers need bullpen help and were last in the league in bullpen strikeouts, so we'll bring in Devin Williams, who had a terrible 2025, but I'm not too worried. He still had a relatively low 1.13 WHIP and is striking out batters more than pretty much any other reliever in the game, and the expected numbers look pretty good, so I think he'd be a good option for Detroit's closer role. Outside of Ace Hunter Brown, the Astros rotation is not looking great. We're going to look to free agency to sign starting pitcher Michael King. King missed time in 2025 but still put up a solid season after a stellar 2024 with a sub-3 ERA and 200-plus strikeouts. He has a really funky delivery that makes the ball come out at a strange angle, and his pitches move a lot, which makes him really effective. The Royals need outfield help very badly, so I think they should sign Harrison Bader, who came out of nowhere last year, exploding offensively. He pretty much put up better numbers in every statistical category than last year, and plays amazing defense with good speed. The Angels need a starting third baseman, so I have them bringing in Japanese star Kazuma Okamoto, who had over 300 last year with a 1,000 OPS, and through a full season was around the 30 home run guy in the Japanese league, so he provides some power. The Dodgers bullpen was very shaky last season, even though they still managed to win a World Series with it. I have them signing star closer Edwin Diaz. He won NL Closer of the Year, and you could argue he's the best closer in baseball. He bounced back after a rough 2024, posting insane numbers, and was pretty much unhittable last year. Diaz would be huge for a struggling Dodgers bullpen, so they would really have that shutdown closer you can rely on. Marlins have a hole at first base, so I have them signing Rhys Hoskins. Hoskins is solid offensively and provides more power to a lineup that was bottom 5 in home runs. He did only hit 12 last season, but every other season he's played 100 games and he's at least 25. He had a solid 748 OPS even though the slugging has dropped off the past 2 seasons. The Twins need to continue to sell this offseason after completely blowing it up at the deadline. I have them trading starting pitcher Pablo Lopez to the Padres, whose rotation is looking pretty bad right now. He missed time but pitched well in 2025 after coming back with a 2.74 ERA and has always kept a relatively low whip with decent strikeout numbers. This trade won't come cheap to San Diego, though. The Mets don't have a starting center fielder, and they can perfectly fill this hole by signing Cody Bellinger. Bellinger had a great year with the Yankees, hitting 29 homers and posting an 814 OPS while playing excellent defense. He'd be the spark the Mets need to be able to get into the playoffs. I have the Yankees signing the best free agent on the market, Kyle Tucker. Tucker isn't coming off his greatest season, but a down year for him is still hitting 22 home runs with an 841 OPS and a 377 on-base percentage. He's still relatively young, being 28, and is at an OPS of 800 past 5 seasons, and this would form the best outfield trio in the league. The Phillies championship window is slowly closing, so they have to put together a team that can win it all next year. To try and do this, I have them bringing back Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber had an unreal 2025 offensively, finishing second in MVP and hitting 56 home runs and finishing top 5 in homers, RBIs, slugging, and OPS. The Pirates need infield help, so I have them trading for third baseman Alec Bohm from the Phillies in a 1-for-1 trade for O'Neal Cruz. The Pirates need to cut ties with Cruz, who is a super frustrating player, but very talented, but just can't put it all together. The Mariners already made a big move re-signing Josh Naylor, but they still need a first baseman, so I have them signing Japanese star Munetaka Murikima. Murikima is considered the top player coming over from the Japanese league, where in 69 games he had 24 homers, an on-base percentage of 392, and an OPS of 1,051. The Padres' rotation is not looking good for next year, so I have them adding starting pitching with Tatsuya Imai from the Japanese league. Imai was pretty much the best pitcher in the league, and looking at his arsenal, he has a fastball that sits around 90 but can touch upper 90s and throws a lot of different pitches. The Giants need starting pitching help, so I have them signing Ranger Suarez. Suarez doesn't throw hard but works around that by knowing how to pitch very well, limiting hard contact. He also has really good off-speed stuff and has a league average strikeout rate even with low velocity. It's best if the Cardinals try and sell this offseason, so I have them packaging Nolan Arenado and Sonny Gray to send over the Rangers. They're both at the end of their careers but still have some value, and it gets 2 big contracts off their hands. I have the Rays sending second baseman Brandon Lowe to the Dodgers, who are always looking to upgrade and can use a second baseman. Lowe is quietly one of the best offensive second basemen in the league, even though his defense is horrible. The Rangers need bullpen help and don't have a set closer, so I have them signing Robert Suarez. Suarez has been lights out for the Padres the past 2 seasons as the closer and led the league in saves last year. He throws hard and has one of the most effective fastballs in the league. The Blue Jays could use more rotation help and will try and go after one of the best top free agent pitchers this offseason, Framber Valdez, who has been very good the past few seasons. The Nationals finished bottom 10 in pretty much every offensive stat and need a starting second baseman, so I have them signing Jorge Polanco. Polanco had a great bounce-back year last year, slugging nearly 500 with an OPS of 821 and hit 26 home runs.